we got nothing else to just watch some sports on the ball. It's tough to take some time. So it's all right, but
I enjoy airplane travel.
yeah. Well, if you do it all the time, like I used to, it's not so fun. But I mean, yeah, if you like it, you like it.
I like it. Unless it's like a 6 hour layover. And that's just a weird time. So then you're debating, should I
Yeah.
leave
What
the
do you do? What
airport
do
or
you
should I
leave? Do you
stay?
stay? Well, and if airplanes were faster, and we have the technology to make our airplanes faster, and I don't understand why we don't.
I
Like our
heard
commercial airplanes.
I heard that airplane fuel?
Yeah,
What is it? Propane? That's not it.
it's jet fuel.
What did I think it was propane? Wait, propane is for barbecuing.
It's kerosene, is what it is.
Okay. Anyway, I heard that we are running low and we will run out of it in 100 years. So a bunch of airplane companies um, that are trying to figure out like
Biofuel?
biofuel with corn or
No, there's already
vegetables.
biofuel with corn. We said we're going to run out in 100 years. You run out when oil runs out. It's made from oil.
Oh,
So if
that's
oil,
what I read.
if oil runs out, then kerosene runs out because it's a byproduct of oil. Um, and so in 100 years, you and I won't be around, so who cares? Second thing is, by then they'll have some other power source. So I wouldn't worry about that.
Oh.
Right? So I mean, it just gets cleaner and cleaner, more efficient, more efficient. So I don't think it's anything we need to worry about. But I just want the airplane to go faster. I don't care what fuel it uses. I want to go faster, so I can get to Vegas in 45 minutes instead of 3 hours.
Faster and safer, because you know that
Faster and
Boeing
safer.
thing that happened where the door ripped off and stuff?
Yeah, they had quality issues out. Whatever that's all about.
The whistleblower apparently died. The very first whistleblower
What kind of
died within a
conspiracy?
month.
What kind of conspiracy? Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Conspiracy theorists would say, yeah, the guy was killed by the company, and then people say, well, it's just you random. I don't know. Is it odd that a whistleblower would die within that frame time? Yeah, it's absolutely weird. Is it possible? Yeah. Is it plausible? I don't know.
It's suspicious.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Lots of conspiracy theories around a lot of things. It's so hard to delineate what's true and what's not true.
Yeah. I have one more conspiracy theory
What?
for you.
Do you know any Canadian conspiracy? Oh, okay, go.
That's where I'm going. I need my phone for this one because I don't want to get anything wrong. So Fort McMurray
Uh-oh.
that's up north, right?
Yeah, I used to work there.
Up north in Alberta. So there used to be there is or used to be a military base in the south of Fort McMurray for World War II,
Oh, there might have
during the
been.
World War
I don't
II.
know.
Um, and the conspiracy theory is mom is chatty. There were the base was buried after World War II
Possible.
and is now recognized as the Stony Mountain. And apparently, there were parts of tanks that were found there,
Hmm.
and there were stories. There were stories that were going around, but they could never explain why a base would be there or why it was buried and why, just why.
Well, why would there be a base there? Did they? I mean, so the areas up there are like Northern Europe. I mean, if they wanted to train, that would be. It's cold. They're never going to get attacked up there, so that would make sense. Why was it buried? I don't know. Why would they take all the time and effort to bury something like that? I don't know.
I don't know either. So
Especially when nobody goes up there. I mean, it's just a bunch of moose.
maybe it was just I don't know. Experiments that they weren't supposed to be.
Well, maybe they were doing some weird stuff up there. You never know, because during World War II, all governments were doing some weird stuff,
Yeah.
right?
I heard there's quite a few military bases within Canada that have been abandoned since World War II, and they're not on at they're not in like public record, I think, and you have to kind of go
I
around
mean,
and find them.
if you went to ChatGPT, you might be able to find some of them.
Maybe. Anyway, So that was a weird conspiracy theory. Stony Mountain in Fort McMurray.
Well, there's no mountains in Fort McMurray, so that's odd in itself. It's flat.
Wait, but it's called Stony Mountain.
Well, whatever it's called, that might be true, but Fort McMurray is flat. There is no mountains in Fort McMurray. I promise you, I've been there many times. Are you sure it's Fort McMurray?
Can you search up Fort McMurray Stony Mountain for us, please? I don't know. Hi, Brooker. Anyway, that was the only conspiracy that I can find in. Oh!
No, wait.
I know
No,
another one.
wait. There is another major military conspiracy that come out of Canada. Did you know in 1959? Well, before 1959, there was an airplane called the Avro Arrow. It was the most advanced aircraft. It had delta wing technology, so the wings moved in and out depending on the speed of the aircraft, and that plane could go faster than any other plane at the time. Mach 2. It could go twice the speed of sound. And it would travel so fast. And then in 1959, out of the blue, one day the Canadian government just completely abandoned the project. People believe it's because the Americans got nervous about the technology and made the Canadian government shut it down because we were doing better in terms of building a supersonic aircraft than the Americans. Yeah, it's true. So the Delta Wing stuff, that all came from Canada, and the engines were going to be Iroquois engines made in Canada instead of the Pratt and Whitney, what I think they used, and the plane was going to go over Mach 2, and they got it shut down overnight.
What the heck?
Yeah, Google it.
Bro, that's crazy. Did you find out about the Stony Mountain? Or has it been debunked?
No, it just says radio communication posts.
Oh, radio communication posts. Well, for the far north, that might be it.
Yeah, but why would they bury it? That doesn't make sense.
Maybe there was tech there they didn't want anybody to have. I don't know.
They're like Japanese urban legend.
So the thing about
Maybe another time.
So the thing about conspiracy theories is there's often elements of truth to them, right?
Yeah, or else why would
Otherwise,
majority of the time, yes.
yeah. Otherwise, right? So, aliens exist. Well, I don't know that that's a conspiracy theory, but it is a theory. Aliens exist and the government is trying to hide it is the conspiracy theory,
Yeah.
right? So do aliens exist? Well, I don't know. What does science say? Well, the chances are pretty good. Have they been to Earth and made contact and it's being hidden? There's your conspiracy theory. So why, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right?
Yeah. I don't know. Another Canadian conspiracy theory, I want to say. You know the mountain in the East Coast? That mountain range? Do you know what that is called?
The Appalachians in the States?
Yes.
Yeah.
That also kind of goes into Toronto.
Well, no.
Does it go into Toronto or Ontario?
No.
Oh, I thought there was like a thing out in the East Coast
No,
in
no,
Canada.
Toronto's flat. So the Appalachians come up, and then above Toronto you have the Canadian Shield, which is just tundra, like rock and frozen tundra. It's not mountains.
I swear there is like a little bit right at the border.
Well, the mountains don't abruptly stop. There might be mountains off to the west of Toronto. You know, small hit but no, there's no mountains.
Oh, maybe it's a U.S.
Well, anyway, what's the
story then?
What's the story?
So the story is you can find this all over the place where people are talking about it, all ages. People that live in the mountains over there, they're not allowed to leave at a specific time. So there's like weird curfews that they have been
Like today?
even to this day. Like a lot of people that live in that area in that small town or something, you don't want to leave after certain hours. You have weird you should be locking your doors even though you have neighbors like 2 miles out. And people have seen and heard things in that mountain.
Like what?
Just like whispering or screaming. Some people heard drumming.
Are you sure they are birds?
No, not birds. They're saying like they've heard people asking for help in the mountains. Just
Nothing
like just weird stuff. Just weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, kid is right. Animals make weird noises.
Like foxes?
They
Foxes, bears, moose, like when they scream and howl and huff and puff, they can sound.
People usually don't know what they sound like.
well, if you live in the mountains, I think you would kind of have an understanding of what animals sound like because you are growing up in the mountains, right? So a lot of people that live in the little towns or around the mountain area, there's weird sounds that cannot be explained.
Yeah, but so does that mean
And
the people don't go out at night, or they're told not to go, or like they can
both.
get
So
arrested?
it's like they don't get arrested. You can go out if you want, but they're told like try to
And
avoid
so
it.
what's this called? What's this conspiracy called? Like, does it have a
I
name?
don't
If
know
I
what it's
Googled it, what would I
called.
find?
I don't know what it's called, but if you search it up, you can literally find it.
Right.
There's weird TikTok stories of people talking about it.
Well, I don't
There's
think that's Canada. That's the
maybe
Canada
the US
has to
then.
do with Avro Arrow and maple syrup and stupid crap like that. But
Maybe it was the US then. Anyway, but it was just weird stuff like that. And people are talking about maybe, the indigenous people have weird, creepy things that live in the forest.
Urban legends.
Like, or
oh,
yeah,
you mean
urban legends.
the legends of the Aboriginal people or the indigenous people are that there's stuff that live in the forest? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Like
people,
Bigfoot, for example. I don't know if
so I
Bigfoot's
don't know if it's
Aboriginal.
Bigfoot, but people are talking about could it be that or they're saying skinwalkers,
Skinwalkers, yeah, other weird stuff. Yeah,
just
yeah,
weird
yeah.
stuff. So I don't know what that is, so I don't want to go into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So, but anyway, those are some weird conspiracy theories that I have looked into for today to start.
that's interesting. I mean, I think there's conspiracy theories that are closer to home, like closer to where, like, that maybe affected us all. So, like, was COVID part of a conspiracy or did it escape from a lab? So it depends. Like in the United States, there's lots of evidence that said that this was built in a lab by Dr. Fauci. There's other people say no, that's a bunch of crap. So there's a whole bunch of thing, and then why it was done to make people wealthy, blah blah blah. So there's a lot of different reasons about why conspiracy theories come up. I think they come up so that people can try to make sense of the things that go on around them when they don't make sense, and so they build up these elaborate things. So, or right, the CIA coined the term conspiracy theory to kind of debunk things that people were saying because it was true. So they wanted people to kind of think those people were lunatics. So they kind of, you know, if you can convince a big group of people that this small group of people is crazy by calling them conspiracy theorists, well then whatever they say nobody will pay attention to, even though it might be true. Hunter Biden's laptop. Oh, that was Russian disinformation. Well, now we know it wasn't. Right? So, and they called all those people that believed it was Russian, blah blah blah. They called them all conspiracy theorists and idiots. Okay, well, yeah, but it wasn't Russian. It was Hunter Biden is a lunatic, right? So, if governments and CIA type places, KGB, they always are in the habit of breaking people into small groups so that the small groups can fight against each other instead against them. So that's a lot. That's where a lot come from.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I guess we'll never know until the truth comes out, or
we'll see. Trump is going to release the P. Diddy list and the Epstein list.
P. Diddy.
So we'll see what happens.
Yikes. Okay.
Right.
We'll see. They keep saying that they're going to release the list, but I don't know. I'll believe it when it comes out.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it, because right now it's just a bunch of ideas and so and so was there but didn't attend the white parties. So and so was there and did attend the white parties. Yeah. Nobody wants to admit they attended the white party. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's weird.
Bunch of pedophiles out there in Hollywood. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So the month of November, it's hunting season, right?
Which is over, yes.
Which is over, yes. And every time we go,
yeah,
Mutsa starts off by saying, peel your eyes out.
Keep your eyes peeled?
He says, okay, remember, peel your eyes out. Keep your eyes peeled.
Well, that's what happens when you speak two languages. You get them mixed up sometimes.
I just find it so funny.
It is
I have to fix them every year. Peel your eyes out. Okay.
You don't even keep your eyes peeled. Oh,
That's so funny.
that is funny.
Anyway, I thought that was a funny story, so I wanted to share that. And then where I'm going to is, so Mizu, he likes to be a little bit more picky when it comes to shooting a buck or doe, and
Unless
he
it's the
was
last day of the season.
yeah. So this year he was waiting for a buck, but almost every weekend he saw a doe or two or three, and at the end he got a doe on the very last day. My question is, well, we finished off the day by saying, "Oh, I guess it was meant to be like he was meant to shoot a doe this year because he didn't see a buck." Now, the question is it fate or is it coincidence? If it was meant to be, was there a plan?
Well, this is very interesting because less than an hour ago, Kayla asked me the exact same question about some conversations she was having at school about fate and coincidence, right?
No,
So,
it wasn't. It was
or
action.
fate, actions, and fate. So here's my thoughts. We all have free will to a certain extent, and the universe doesn't care. Doesn't care. Karma, all that. It's stuff. It's garbage.
That's your opinion.
No, it's true.
But what about what about like okay, so that was your opinion.
No,
But you know
true.
okay, whatever. And there's religious people that okay, so when we were in church, it was always the Lord's plan. This was the Lord's plan.
Yeah, but everything becomes the Lord's plan.
But then they're also talking about there's free will. And then that's where it becomes, isn't that? So that's where, oh my gosh, I cannot talk today. Those are kind of things that I started questioning when I was having some troubles with the church well, if it was God's will or God's plan, but then you're also telling me there's free will, how does having a plan mean that I have a free will? And then I got into all
Well,
that
just
stuff.
because you have a plan doesn't mean anything can go according to plan. So don't mix those two things up.
Oh,
Right?
I was thinking
Yeah.
there is a plan, like it's laid out for you, because
Well, it may be laid out. I have a plan for you. I'm a father. I have a plan for you and your sister and your other sister. It's the plan in my head. You might not do what I think. You're going according to plan. So is Elia. So is your sister Kayla. And the plan is more general in nature. If you went and became a fentanyl addict and you were homeless and that would not be according to
I
plan.
don't think you're allowed to say that word on YouTube. I have to blur that out.
Which one?
The H word. Lady of the Night.
That's so whatever. But that's fine. So yeah, so there can be this overall plan, and my overall plan for you is to be successful. But
okay. So
here's the question: in the grand scheme of things, with all the universe out there, do you think someone cares if you pass your math test or not? Do you think someone cares if you no?
No, but what I'm trying to get at is I'm not saying one idea is wrong and the other idea is correct. All I'm trying to bring up is a conversation. So when I was in philosophy or religion, just for one semester,
Studying.
and I was just studying it, there's some new ideas that I never really thought of,
Like what?
which was, so you just said you're a father and you have a plan. The thing is, you cannot see the future, right? But if there is a God that is omnipresent, all the other omnis that I cannot
Omniscient,
remember,
omnipresent.
all that, then they can see the future. So then they would, if there is a plan from God, then there would be a step by step of like he or whoever would know, the creator would know what path you would take.
So I don't think that any of those omnis have anything to do with seeing the future.
Well, not seeing the future, but you know what I mean, like
No.
if you're omnipresent, you can be present anytime, anywhere. Like time is relative to that
Well, you can
creator.
be anytime, anywhere in the future.
Future, past, like
I mean,
because it's time is relative, right? If you're in a if you work on a different dimension, you don't like we don't even know what is available if you work in a different dimension. So time is completely, I think, relative for a creator.
yes, but if there was a creator that was able to live in another dimension and go and see the future, then what we're doing here is completely unfair.
Well, I don't think it's go and see the future. I think I'm gonna sound weird. I don't know. I think this omni creator is able to experience it all at once. So it's not like us where time is linear and oh you're gonna experience like to be able to go and experience the future. That's a very linear thought process. But if you're an omni creator, I think you would have a different way of processing it, but like all at once is the best way to say it
Yeah, I
because we
get it.
live in this 3D world.
Mhm.
But you were able to experience it in a different frequency, in a different way. So yeah, like was it meant to be? Is there fate? Was it coincidence? If it was coincidence, then there is no plan. Well, technically there is no plan from like a laid out plan from a creator, right? Because coincidence means oh it just happened.
Well, coincidence means coincide, right?
Yeah, wait. Coincidence. It just happened.
Coincide. Well, what does coincide mean? No, coincidence means it happened by accident. Oh, that was an odd accident that was weird, oddly timed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the word comes from coincide, and what does coincide mean?
What?
What does coincide mean?
I don't know. Wait, what? I don't know.
Coincide means to be together. It-
Oh.
right? So a coincidence,
Oh.
right? See what I'm saying?
Oh.
Mm. So some people don't believe in coincidence, and some people say, "Oh, that this randomness." But if there's all people doing all things all the time across the world, of course you will have random things happen at the same time. And as a human, you will look for patterns and make random connections between two completely unrelated events. Of course you will, because you want to try and see that there was some purpose or something in what you're doing.
I want to talk about purpose of life so bad, but I'm waiting for Elia because I had this conversation with Elia
Uh-huh.
when Grandpa was in hospice. Oh man, I've been holding it in.
Well, think about
So
it.
close.
Um, in order for so many, not just decisions that you've made throughout, let's say you meet someone by accident in a random place, which has happened. So many decisions by so many people other than yourselves have to take place in order for you to meet that person at some random place at that particular time.
Mm-hmm.
Not just you and them, but millions and billions of other people have to make decisions that would cause that to happen. And that's what I'm saying. If you have a billion lines of decision making crossing, eventually some of them are going to cross or coincide.
Eventually, but was it planned? Was it meant to be?
Well, that means that somebody's pulling the strings.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
We won't know.
if someone's pulling the strings, then they're influencing your behavior and movements and decisions. And some would argue coercing. Well, then you don't have free will.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone is pulling the strings, you know that talk about how we could be living in a AI simulation. Thank you. In a simulation.
Yeah.
If we were living in a simulation, there must be some strings pulled.
Well, define simulation.
Not.
Well, okay.
Not
Take a step
conscious?
back. So,
Maybe that's not it.
so depending on your version of simulation, I might not have this exact, so forgive me. Muslims think a lot of things, or most things, are fate. It's already determined. Christians think you have this free will to make the right choices. if you take so for example, when we lived in Saudi Arabia, for right or wrong, a lot of people wouldn't wear their seatbelts because they would say, God willing, I'll survive my car ride.
Hmm.
Well, then my question, well, why are you with the doctor then? Why are you taking medicine? Right? Why are you on a diet? If everything's God willing, it's already, then why are you making like it doesn't jive, right? The other way is if Christians come to earth, make a bunch of decisions, you're tempted, you suffer, blah blah, and then you see if you can make your way to heaven. Well, that is literally no different than a bunch of rats being put in a maze and being given treats to go a certain way and or not in a maze. So take your pick. I don't like either of them. I think they're both stupid.
Then what then what's your idea of where did you conclude, or what is your theory then? If you
My
think
my
both of
theory
those don't.
my theory is the universe doesn't care, but the universe does gain and gather experience from all living things. Okay, so whatever that creator looks like. So, for example, this is my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I can speak about my hand in the first person or the third person. I can say I cut I cut myself,
Oh, I know this example.
right?
Yeah.
I can say I cut myself. I don't have to tell you where, and you will know that I cut myself. Could be on my hand, it could be on my head, could be my leg. I cut myself. The other way I can say it is I cut my hand. The other way I can say it is I cut the tip of my finger. Any one of those three things that I just said are correct. So I think the universe operates in very, very similar way. There's a sentient origin. We are a part of the origin, but in our nature here on Earth, we have forgotten, or it's hard to reconnect to the origin. Some people do it. Most of us walk around without understanding what that connection is.
Like frequency connections.
Frequency,
Energy?
just the spiritual energy connection.
Okay.
Okay. And some people can connect to it, some people can't, some people don't want to, some people won't. Right? And you can say I, or you can say me, or you can say us, or you can say the universe. Like there's so many different ways, but I think that because this source, this origin, cannot know what I'm experiencing unless that origin is me. And the only way it can experience what I'm experiencing is if it's me. But since it's not me, I'm me. Then what if I'm part of the origin, and everything I experience becomes a part of the origin's experience? So that's why so many people can have very, very horrible lives. And some people can have very, very pampered lives. And we will say life is unfair. Well, yes, it's unfair, but in order to give this origin, this source, all of the information, and for us an experience, then all of our information and all of our experiences flow into it. We think we're separate from it, but we're actually a part of it. And so that's why I think murder and killing each other and wishing harm upon each other is so detrimental to the human experience, is because you're really not hurting another person. You're actually killing a part of yourself. That connection, I think, is there. I think we've just forgotten it. But that's, I think, the story of what connects us all, that energy.
Mm-hmm.
Killing another person is extremely negative.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's in war, so politicians send young men to war, civilians, women and children get hurt, older people get hurt or killed. It's so detrimental to the human condition on a global scale. But I don't think I don't, because we're separated and we are unable en masse to reconnect back to our origin. I think we separate ourselves from each other too much, and then that's what causes war and deprivation and right.
Because I've thought of the same thing as you. Before we talked about this before, and I came to kind of that same conclusion as well before we talked about this a while ago, which is I am your daughter. Anyway, what What was I saying? So I wonder if that's ASMR for people. Can you hear it? Stop. um, what was I talking about? Yes, frequency and energy.
Yeah.
So you know how there were, have you heard of the studies of people's brain
Yeah,
frequency
yeah,
kind
of
of
course.
lining
That's
up
that's a
and
known. Yeah, everything
stuff?
vibrates.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's very, I agree with you with what you were saying, because that's what my theory or kind of conclusion is. Not conclusion, that's my theory is as well. And I think the frequency plays a huge role in our lives, but we are so busy.
We've become busy with a lot of distractions.
We are so busy trying to be better or trying to escape, trying to, whatever your goal is, unconsciously or consciously, trying to get somewhere. And I think that frequency that is all around us 24/7, I think we have, for a lot of us, have forgotten to not chime in, but to
Connect.
align, to
Mm.
connect. For an example, a frequency of, there's studies of frequency of music, how it affects the human
Yep.
body.
Yep.
Fast-paced music, it affects your heart rate
Mhm.
and your, I guess, your mood as well. Slow frequency music puts you in like a sadder state, or it could be a relaxed state, and your heartbeat also slows down.
Yep.
And I think people have don't how do I say it? People take in that frequency so much today that it comes out as character as well. So what you listen to is also what you're putting out.
Yeah.
And also if you're, yeah, if that,
Well,
that makes
okay.
sense.
People are much more angry than they used to be, I think.
I don't know because I'd never lived in the 1200s or
Well, let me rephrase that. I think there are a lot of things to disrupt our thought patterns and frequencies and what we think and the way we think. And so I think because we're always being disrupted, there's no such thing as silence anymore, right? So everybody thinks they got to fill silence with YouTube or Instagram, or like people always think they need to have something to do. So it's very, very difficult for people to meditate. I think yoga and other things like that have taken off because people want and crave silence, and they do yoga and stuff like that to find it.
I don't know if silence. I think it's more like peace.
Peace, calm,
Yeah.
silence, whatever you want to call it. Um, and then there are so many people that are so wound up all the time because they're craving the next dopamine hit, right? That I think those dopamine hits are always disrupting the peace that we're sometimes in desperate need of.
Mm.
Is it dopamine after dopamine after dopamine? You keep craving that. Well, you're never going to be silent. You're never going to have a silent moment with yourself, right? Zero introspection, zero, thought about what you did in the day, zero idea of vision for yourself,
Or self-reflection.
self-reflection, right? So you have this whole generation of kids that simply don't.
Can I just add, not just kids, but also adults
Well,
as well.
adults too. Yeah,
Yeah.
trust me. Yeah. No, it's true. Right. So you have these great swaths of people that just there's so much information available, but they never take the time to sit back and do that self check or that introspection to understand if they should shift gears. Very few people do it. So if you're born poor, you're always going to be poor. If you're middle class and struggling all the time because you can't manage money, where's your self-interest? Where's the introspection to understand what do I need to do? Well, you're always on YouTube, you're always on TV. You're never learning, you're never changing habits, you're never looking at different things to do. That's you, right? And so that noise detracts people from and it's their fault from doing anything different, and so they suffer through the same thing over and over and over again because they lack that calming frequency, vibration, alignment
Mm-hmm.
within themselves, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they're always at a state of unease or dis-ease.
And I think that's where therapy is so popular because people,
Well, therapists are another.
I think people seek out therapists because they don't know
Yeah, but you got
how
people
to
that shouldn't be
reflect.
therapists that have a 5-year, 6-year degree in therapy, teaching other people or giving therapy to other people, and they're just as broken.
But I'm not trying to say therapy is the answer. I'm just trying to say people
Well, I'm
seek
just,
out therapy
but
to
they
figure
do.
that part of that frequency.
People today don't seek out therapy to ask them to figure out what's wrong with them. People today seek out therapy and therapists that will tell them why what they're doing is what they should be doing. Do you see what I'm saying? Therapists in the old days would tell you, dude, what you're doing is wrong. Therapists today say, yeah, live your truth. Well, that's not therapy. That's just stupidity,
Mm.
right? No, they're living your truth is not a free all of doing anything you want. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Therapy, there's different forms of therapy. And yeah, I think it's the therapist world is very, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a therapist
You know what you can do?
and I don't go to therapy weekly
You want to
anymore.
you want to
So,
try something? If you think you're in need of therapy, go and puke out all of the problems that you have or think you have, or just talk to yourself and like get it transcribed into Word through voice. You know, you can do voice recording and it transcribes it into Word.
yeah, yeah.
And then tell ChatGPT what you want help with, and have a conversation with ChatGPT as it's and tell it you want it to be your therapist. And if you have the self control and self discipline to actually do introspection and listen to what ChatGPT, it'll tell you. You can do a therapy session with ChatGPT.
Yeah, I guess because
No, no,
ChatGPT has all the data and
so good, all the
information of
data.
other therapists and other researchers that have been done.
Yes, try
Okay,
it,
yeah, interesting.
even just for fun. Try it, and you'll say leverage the work of so and so, or take a look at this, or I'm addicted to that, and tell me what I, let's have a conversation. It'll have a conversation with you.
Mm,
Sure it will. And in
yeah.
fact, if you pay for it, you can have the oral conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to type it in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it'll do it. Right. Okay, but then you got to sit back and are you going to do what it said? Like a real therapist? You can sit and talk to a therapist all day, but if you're not going to do what the therapist says, you're just wasting your money.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And ChatGPT is free. You can start there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, to each their own. If that's what they're looking for and that's what they want to do, then yeah. And if they want to go talk to a person, I guess go talk to a person.
Yeah, you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that if you don't have the money, or you don't think you have the money, or you don't think you have the time, there are tools to enable you to realign.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be calm. You have to take the time. You have to introspection and meditation.
Yeah. Even
Some
writing
people aren't
down,
wired that way, but they need to try.
writing down things, writing down. A lot of things that I hear today are miscommunication. A lot of people today struggle with communication.
Well, you're how long you been married? 2 years.
Too, yeah.
Plus, you speak 2 languages. So, how communication is communication hard when you're new married? It's hard to learn.
Communication was hard even, yeah, before marriage as well. You learn to communicate or else you don't
Yeah,
communicate.
well, yeah, and then there are people that have been married for 1 year, and there are people that have been married for 100 years. And just because you've been married for a long time doesn't mean you communicate any better. Maybe you just are afraid to leave your crappy husband or your crappy wife. There's plenty of you can hear it all day long on different podcasts and stuff. People phone in and their communication with their spouse is horrible.
Yeah, and I think people forget or don't know how to communicate with people. Plus, they don't reflect on their communication.
Yeah.
They don't reflect on their communication. Hey, like if you had a past argument, a past disagreement, you should sit down, maybe by yourself, because it's better to take a look at it yourself, and to reflect that conversation and say, okay, I reacted this way. I shouldn't have, because I don't like it when people
Dude,
react to me this way. Or the wording I used was
you can
very,
have that
yeah,
conversation with ChatGPT and
well,
get it to give you help on
yes,
how to communicate.
but you should also start learning it yourself instead of constantly seeking for somebody to like, yeah, you should do this, you should do this. You should learn while doing that
Well, but
to
I mean, is
learn.
like a therapist,
Yeah,
these LLMs can teach you so that you know kind of how to teach yourself, is what
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah.
Those tools exist. So there's really no excuse, right, to continue down the path of miscommunication when there are so many tools and podcasts and YouTubes and um, talk shows, all these things that teach you how to communicate. Community resources and insurance will pay for stuff, and also there's no reason why this stuff should happen, but pride, arrogance, pride, hubris. Those things get in the way of people doing the self introspection and changing because they always want somebody else to change.
Yes.
It's your fault. You need to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't change you. The only person I'm going to change is me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only person that has control over what I do.
Mm-hmm.
The only one.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else can make you do anything.
Yeah.
They can influence you, but you're under complete. You are an autonomous human being, so people can influence you if you let them, and if you don't let them, they can't influence you. It's that simple, right? Now, easier said than done if you're born into certain situations
Mm-hmm.
where you don't learn that, so you
Mm-hmm.
become a victim all the time, or you blame your circumstance. That does happen,
Yeah.
right? And so most people in that bell curve would be, where the majority of people are. But there are people that are able to escape that conditioning and get out there. And are they special people? Yeah, they have to be outside that bell curve. But it is absolutely possible.
Mm-hmm.
That bell curve does not have to slant, go way up. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to.
Mm-hmm.
And people forget. So
Yeah,
anyway,
that
yeah.
sucks. It sucks that we are so distracted that we forget to take time for ourselves
Yeah.
and take time even to hang out or focus on your family,
Mm.
your pets. I think
Your friends, family especially,
yeah,
or yourself.
yeah. You know what was so great? So my friend Chelsea, she's listening to this podcast. Thank you.
This one?
I hope she
Oh, good for her.
she started listening to it, and you said an opinion about young generation not be able to find purpose, and she was like, yeah, that hit me. Anyway,
Purpose is hard. It's not just young people. You're right.
yeah,
It's other generations. But
yeah.
yes.
Anyway, she was like, she's enjoying it. Anyway, where I was going was, we just went out on Wednesday to celebrate her birthday,
Oh, good for her. Happy birthday. Good.
and it was really nice. It was so refreshing talking about connecting and
Mhm.
getting to know yourself and other people. We both had our phones in our purses.
Yeah, don't take them out. Yeah.
And the only time we took it out was to look at the menu because we need to scan the QR
You
code.
stand the damn
Yeah.
QR code. Yeah.
Other than that, we just sat there with our phones in our purses and just talked.
Yeah.
And it was so nice and so refreshing. And the table next to us were on their phones a lot.
Yep,
There was like three
on
of
their
them
phone.
just looking at their phone.
Yep.
But other than that, it was just like, it was so nice. I very much appreciated it.
That's cool.
That her attention was on me and my attention was on her,
Yeah.
and we just talked.
Here's why that's significant. You will have a lot of friends. You will have a lot of coworkers that are friendly. Your coworkers are almost never your friends. They're your coworkers, and you're friendly with them. They're almost never your friends. They can become your friends,
That's how Chelsea and I started. Yeah.
but that's rare.
Mm.
But to get a deep friendship with somebody that you would drop, we all have walls, right?
Mhm.
There's curtains that we open and close, and we open them for some people a certain extent, and we close them for other people. And so when you interact with 5 or 6 different people, you will notice that you open the curtains wider for some people to let them see more, and right? To find people that you can open the curtain so that they can see all of you or almost all of you. That's very rare. And then one of the greatest things you can do is have that, and so have that with somebody and nurture it. And so I think one way to nurture it is not by doing something, but by not doing something. And that is not looking at your phone when you're talking to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Put it away. Turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have to have that damn thing on?
Mm.
Right? It's like when I'm in a business meeting and somebody I know says, "Oh, I'm getting a call from my boss. Oh, I got to take this call from somebody." They don't know that you're busy. So don't answer the freaking phone. Tell them you like let it go to voicemail, which is why you have it,
Mm-hmm.
and then call them back when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're taking a dump. So just say I was busy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm here talking with you now.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you giving somebody who could be thousands of miles away priority over talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
It's not right. We should deprioritize the people that are not in front of us,
Mm-hmm.
and prioritize the people that are in front of us, because those relationships are the ones that need the nourishing, right? The
Mhm.
in person.
Mhm.
So good for you. Anyway, I would encourage you to continue that, and plant the seeds of that friendship, water it, stay away from harsh sunlight, right? Which means the crappy phones.
Okay. I
Um,
was like, what?
you got to nurture it, and you got to plant it, and you got to seed it, and you got to weed it, and you can't do that with a phone in your hand. You just can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has to go away, right?
Yeah.
So
Anyway, it was a very refreshing interaction.
good for you.
Yeah.
Continue that. That's a good habit to get into,
Yeah.
especially when you're talking with your husband too, right? Chuck the phone. You don't
Yeah.
need the phone.
Yeah. I went to check the phone.
Yeah, let's get rid of the phone. I have a bad habit. Your mom has a bad habit.
Oh my God. Don't even.
Your mom is
started.
insane. She's on the phone all the time. It drives me crazy. So sometimes I have to tell her, put the damn phone away, and then she yells. She yells at me. Let's just put the phone away, right? And then when she does the same thing to me, then yeah, you're right. I need to put the phone away.
Yeah.
So bad habits all around, but
Yeah.
they can be fixed.
I'm trying to get Mitsu to delete Instagram because he is doom scrolling. Correct me if I'm wrong. He is doom scrolling first thing he wakes up.
Make rules.
When he's on the can.
Yeah, well,
when he
Mitch's
comes
got a
home.
problem. Okay,
And I have to tell him, hey,
get out of here.
get off your phone. I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm here.
you should have rules, but that's not a rule that you one-sidedly demand. That has to be rules that you both together sit down and determine. Hey, if you're taking a dump, I'm not in there with you. You can scroll all you want. But the longer you're in there, the more hemorrhoids you're going to get, because you're sitting on the toilet all the time. You were done taking a dump 20 minutes ago, but it's an hour later and you're still sitting there. That's your problem.
Yeah.
And when you're 50, you're going to know it. All right?
Yeah.
You're going to need all the Prep H you can get your hands on. But hey, if you're outside and one of us says the code word, or one of us has something important to say, and we say, this is important enough for you to put your phone down for the next hour, then that should be a set of rules that you both come up with, right? Or if you want to sit and watch a movie together, put the phone away.
Yeah.
And here's the rule: you don't answer it.
Yeah.
Right? So those rules are hard, but you can't be demanding. You have to sit together and kind of hash those out.
Yeah.
And if you need to write them down, write them down.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's not not as bad as he used to be, because I did tell him.
Because he's sitting on the toilet for an hour, doom scrolling across Instagram.
But he says he doom scrolls first thing when he wakes up because I'm still sleeping. Okay, that's fine, but at the same time, that's not healthy for you. So I'm personally.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, right? So I'm personally like, hey, if you want to stay healthy, I don't agree with you doom scrolling first thing in the morning, but
Well, you know what you
awake,
could
so
do?
whatever. And the
Put your phone in the kitchen and have an actual alarm clock, the only thing beside your bed. So when you wake up, you can't doom scroll.
that's what I want to do. But
Go
Mutsu
get
says
one.
it's a waste of money.
No, it isn't. I'll buy you one for Christmas. $10.
Okay,
Buy a
perfect.
digital clock.
And then
Get one
and-
of those ones you have to wind.
Oh,
Have you
that,
seen
I
that?
cannot sleep with those.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
And then when Mutsu used to come home and just scroll, I actually got very upset at him because I was like, we need to eat dinner together without you looking at your phone. So now he's not doing that,
Yep.
which is nice. We actually eat dinner together Or if we're really both tired, we'll just
See,
turn
he's-
on the show and just
Yeah,
eat
he's-
together.
Yeah, there you go. He's a good boy. He listens. But
Yeah. Another thing that I know is very.
just like, I gotta check my Instagram. No, I'm just joking.
I was gonna give you the stink eye. Actually, I think I did. Like during midnight feeding, especially with newborns.
Yeah.
Midnight feeding, and I don't know. The mom is, I don't know.
Well, feeding takes 10 minutes,
feeding,
but they're on
like-
the phone for an hour.
Exactly. So what I was trying to
So they're
say
tired.
is, like, dads that needs to bond with the baby because babies have a better bond with the mothers, right? Technically, like first when they're born, they have that connection with the mother.
Yeah.
And then fathers do have that connection, obviously, compared to other people, but they still have to create that bond because the bond is different.
Of course, of course, of course.
And I've read that so many parents during that very important bonding time of feeding or just
Even diaper
sitting in the
changing.
room
Yep,
together,
Yep.
they're on their phones.
Yeah. It's horrible.
On their phones. You're feeding a baby and you're on your phone.
Yeah.
That's the time for
I
you
would,
to.
I would sit there with you, rocking you, for hours.
Thank you.
Hours. Fall asleep. Hours.
It's not my fault that I had
I didn't have
an
a phone.
allergic reaction.
No. I loved it. I didn't have phone.
I was
It was
talking
awesome.
I was talking to mom and she was like, you had really bad eczema and you woke up every hour. And it was
Oh,
exhausting.
Kayla was probably worse, but yeah.
Who's there? Second.
But yeah, so yeah. I mean, the phones let us have fun. The devices let us have fun. Look up conspiracy theories. Let us listen to podcasts. But there's a time and a place, and we each need to develop that space. And,
Yeah.
And just have times where we don't look at them. Early in the morning, late at night, and for goodness sake, if you wake up at 2 a.m, take a dump or take a leak, do not open Instagram.
Yeah,
Just
self-discipline.
leave it. Don't touch it. I don't even touch my phone anymore.
Yeah, you need self-discipline.
Yeah, you just it's self-discipline.
That's
Which
something
nobody
you gotta
has anymore, by the
practice.
way.
I do. Can I just say I have really good self-discipline?
You do. And it's
Thank you.
important.
That's literally it's a trait that I will show off forever because I'm very proud
So
of myself.
anybody listening, do some self-introspection about your relationship with the device, and more importantly, the relationship you don't have with yourself because of the device. Forget other people for a moment. Think of the relationship you don't have with your own mind because the device is always filling the silence with noise.
Mm-hmm.
Very important, in my opinion.
Maybe we should cut right there
Let's do it.
and make people
Everyone?
think about it.
Take an hour.
It doesn't even have to be an hour. It
Doesn't
could
even
be
have to.
5 minutes.
Try to make your mind silent and introspect and think about something you want to change. Write it down. Make a plan. So
Yeah.
whatever you want to do with the silence. It's up to you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good spot to end. And thank you for listening. And we will see you on our next one. Bye.
Oh, no, too much.